preps to pros and everything in between. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Young.
Welcome into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you with us here on this Tuesday edition of the show. It is Top 5 Tuesday here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports, and we are glad to bring you the most timely and comprehensive sports coverage in Southern Middle Tennessee. Mo, how are you?
I'm good, man.
This afternoon,
I'm good. We've got some timely and comprehensive news here that we'll be talking about here in a bit, and I'm pretty excited to be delivering it. So,
I'm not sure if you saw, there is a hype video for next week's Mount Pleasant Columbia Central game out on Facebook right now, and it's pretty good. The guy who does those videos is
Skinny Dobbins.
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah.
Did a great job with the video. So
He's really talented, man. Yeah, he does a good job.
I'm pumped about that. So next Friday night
Should be a fun game.
I did get confirmation today that Matt Rogers will not be on public address Thursday night, as he will be in Louisville. So I guess he had.
I looked for Matt prior to the game Friday night. I did not go upstairs, and I got sidetracked with other stuff like the game. So I'm glad you found out about that.
Yeah,
He's going to be in Louisville.
Yeah,
is he doing something with
Vaughn
with Vaughn
Miller?
Yeah, again.
No,
I mean, he stiffed us for Vaughn.
He's always got something going on. That guy.
Hey, he goes where he's celebrated, not tolerated.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I thought, good for you, Matt. So I'm hopeful that the Waverly PA guy gets that opportunity, even though it is cool that Mike Keith and Coach will be on the call on the radio Thursday night. It's also free to get in, by the way. It's a free event. If you want to go to the game, you can go. Does not cost you anything. They're going to ask for donations at the door, but it's absolutely free to get in if you'd like to go to the ball game. I mean, let's fill this place up. Wouldn't it be cool if there were, 10, 15,000 people or even 30,000 people at this game on a Thursday night? That would be super cool.
I don't know that the Titans are ready for that, but yeah.
You'll still be in the parking lot at 7:05 trying to get in.
Yeah.
Hopefully they got more than 2 gates open, but that's like Legion Field used to do that too.
Laugh if you will.
Listen, the year that Ole Miss and Pitt played in the Birmingham Bowl, same thing. They had like 3 gates open at Legion Field, and there were 55,000 people there. And it's like, guys, did you not realize Ole Miss hadn't been to a bowl game in like 4 years to that point?
And it's not that far from
And it's
Oxford
not
to
very
Birmingham.
far. It's like an hour and a half. You didn't think they were going to come in droves? Are you kidding me? That was, yeah. Anyway.
Foresight, none.
Well, that's the city of Birmingham in general for you. Although they finally, now that they've got Randall Woodfin in office, he's kind of
He seems like a pretty sharp dude.
He's great. I love that guy. But anyway, I digress. We have a lot of top stories to get to, and we might as well get to them. But first, we give you the Tuesday Rundown.
This is the Rundown. This is your Tuesday Rundown, brought to you by Jim Davis at Grow Live Give. Visit them at growlivegive.com or give them a call at 615-682-0022. Securities offered through IFP Securities, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, IFP member, FINRA, SIPC. Investment advice offered through IFP Advisors, LLC, DBA Independent Financial Partners, Registered Investment Advisor. IFP and Grow Live Give are not affiliated.
In volleyball action on Monday, Loretto blanked Lawrence County 3-0. It was also Hickman County 3, Columbia Central 0, and Independence 3, Lebanon 0. Mount Pleasant defeated Marshall County 3-1.
Well done. In girls soccer action, it was Huntland 6, Culleoka 3, and Shelbyville a 5-3 winner over Columbia Central.
In golf this afternoon, the District 12 AAA tournament took place at Franklin Bridge the course formerly known as Forest Crossing. Top 3 teams advance to the Region 6 AAA tournament. On the boys' side, those will be Franklin, the district champion, shot a .285, 1 stroke better than Brentwood, and 4 strokes better than Ravenwood. Tight competition there on the boys' side. For the girls, it was Ravenwood shooting a 145, Page second at 163, and Franklin third with a 165. Independence is Piper Davis, shot a 78. Summit's Claudette Runk shot an 80. They will both advance individually. Spring Hill's boys were led by Jason Hughes' 93 and Columbia Central boys by Andrew Hazard's 98.
In Tuesday action, volleyball today at 5:30 is Middle Tennessee Christian at Columbia Academy. At 6 o'clock, it's Forest and at Culleoka, Hampshire at Zion Christian, Santa Fe at Hickman County, and Summertown at Loretto. All 6 p.m. starts there.
At 6:30, Columbia Central travels to Summit. Independence plays at Spring Hill, and Mount Pleasant is at Collinwood. Times unknown. In girls soccer, it's Grace Christian at Columbia Academy at 6. Also at 6, Summit's at Hendersonville. Good luck with that traffic. Zion Christian is at Richland at 6. And at 7, Franklin County travels to Coffee County. In cross-country action, Summertown is running in a meet at Fayetteville.
Right now. They've already started.
Started at 4.
Matter of fact, they'll be done
They're
in about 25
halfway.
minutes. They're about halfway done.
Yeah.
That's it for your Tuesday rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today.
If you're not already in Fayetteville, you're too late.
I don't think you're going to make it. But if you do, if you get there, go get some slaw burgers. They're delicious. Couple of things we need to get to. First off, the Braves are taking on Colorado today. That's a 6:20 first pitch, 5:05 pregame. They are in Atlanta, so hopefully the Rockies left all of their road luck in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Tukey takes the bump against John Gray. John Gray, who is 7-1 on the year.
7-10.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
That's a typo.
I was like 7-1 with a 4.18 ERA.
No,
those are bullpen numbers.
No, he's 7-10, and I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know who. Actually, I know exactly who, but anyway, yeah. There.
It is what it is. Okay. Tukey, 3-2 with a 4.11, going up against John Gray, 7-10 with 4.18 ERA.
Braves with a 4.5 game lead over Philadelphia coming into today's play, and 5.5 over the Mets. So let's put a little more distance, or at least keep that distance.
Yes. Putting distance in between those teams would be ideal at this point. I would be really happy with just a win. Just at this point, let's get these wins.
All right, Al Davis.
With the back side of the rotation here.
Mm-hmm, before we go to San Francisco.
Before we go to San Francisco, take a little momentum with us. We've already taken 2 out of 3 from them at home, so let's go out there and see what. Get a little taste of that NLCS preview.
Mm-hmm. And give them a little taste.
That's right.
Hello.
Oh, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. So 5:05 on WKRM should be on tonight. I don't think there's anything else that comes on Tuesdays.
Is there anything else, JP, that comes on?
I don't think so. I think
Tuesdays?
Hey Coach is on Monday, and then Fall Calls is on Wednesday. So
we should be good.
We'll
tonight.
I think you should be good.
You'll get Braves tonight.
Should get Braves tonight.
There you go. There you go. Do we want to stay with baseball?
Yeah, let's stay with baseball here. Big Roberto Clemente Award is always one of my favorite awards of the year, and local celebrity,
friend of the show,
Tony Kemp, the Oakland Athletics nominee.
CCCHS. Oakland A's infielder Tony Kemp has been named the club's 2021 nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award, which recognizes a major league player who best represents the game of baseball through extraordinary character, community involvement, philanthropy, and positive contributions both on the field and in the community. It's the most prestigious individual award for major leaguers. He will be recognized on Monday when Oakland returns home for its final game of the regular season. So congrats to him. This is the second straight year that he has been Oakland's nominee for this award. Last year, as the pandemic began to really take hold of the country and the world, he established his Plus One Effect campaign, which encourages constructive conversations about race, systemic racism, and his own life experiences. And he's really opened up to a lot of folks on that. And so congrats to TK. Huge fan of his.
Yeah, good dude. Finally, before we get to college football for pretty much the rest of the hour,
In one way or another.
Monday Night Football last night. One of the best games. One of the best games of that there has been in the NFL in a while. I think the week started on Thursday night with a really good football game. I think it ended on Monday night with a really good football game, and it just
And everything on Sunday was trash.
it continues to prove. Well, for us, it was. It continues to prove that the NFL is the best sports product going. I mean, as far as parity is concerned, the NFL is pretty impressive. Now, I know nobody cares about your fantasy teams, but I have to tell you how I lost last night.
Oh, Lord.
I lost by less than half a point. Daniel Carlson is my kicker. They run him out there on second down to kick the game winner, get a delay of game penalty, take him off the field. They throw a touchdown to win the game, and they don't kick the extra point in overtime, and I lose.
Yikes.
Is that not brutal? Oh, my gosh.
But you know what? You deserve it just for coming on here and talking about it.
It was so bad. As far as bad beats go, that's got to be as bad as I've ever been beaten in anything, whether it be betting or that was tough. That was tough. But the coolest thing that happened last night, Peyton and Eli on ESPN. Lawson Smith texts me last night and says, "Is this the most entertaining thing that ESPN has ever put on its airwaves?" And I have to admit, there were times that, and I didn't watch a whole lot of it because I was busy with my kid and all, but what I watched of it was just absolute insanity. And I love that Eli asked Ray Lewis, he said, "Would you take $1,000 or Peyton's helmet full of quarters?" Which of those would you rather have?
What was the answer?
That's a good. I don't know what the answer was, but that was pretty great.
I'm just a little. I'm a little grudgeful because I've not had any conversation and any contact with intern 2 since he left.
He just sends me the funny tweets. That's all I get.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But it probably is one of the most impressive. At least you can't get Peyton in the booth. Peyton he wants nothing to do with criticizing anybody in the league. They're his peers. Those are he wants nothing to do with criticizing. Now,
And I can appreciate that.
he did have some moments though while I was watching where his facial expressions when some throws were missed were pretty obvious. And other than that, I mean, you're getting so much information from him is what's so cool. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I know you watched a little bit of it, JP. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. There's so much information coming from Peyton in particular. What part I saw was him at the whiteboard.
I saw that too.
And I was like, whoa.
Velcro and all
exactly,
this 82 Velcro stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what he just said, but okay.
But it was good to see somebody with that amount of knowledge, he and Eli, that inside, just organically reacting. That was kind of fun to see.
Before we go, and I know we're in the final minute, but I just tripped across a tweet on Twitter. What if the Titans drafted J.J. Watt in 2011 instead of Jake Locker? Locker went 8, Watt went 11. Oh. Adding insult to injury.
If ifs and nuts were candy and butts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, Mo.
Just a thought. A thought.
College football on the other side of the break, so stick around. We're going to talk plenty of it. We'll be right back on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. This segment is brought to you by our friends at Zion Christian Academy. ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, on the front side of this break, was talking about what if the Titans had drafted Jake Locker rather than...
No, what if they had drafted?
I'm sorry, had drafted Jake Watt rather than Jake Locker.
And I've just thrown Chris into a tailspin for the rest of the show.
Well, let me just give you. Now, granted, Texas A&M and Missouri were in the Big 12 at the time, but they were already, they had committed to the SEC. All 7 players taken before Jake Locker were from the SEC. Cam Newton, Von Miller, Marcel Darius of Alabama, A.J. Green, Patrick Peterson, Julio Jones, and Alden Smith of Missouri. Jake Locker was the first non-SEC player taken in the draft by the Tennessee Titans. And
they paid for it. Maybe they should have just continued the trend, huh?
Should have gone with literally any quarterback from the SEC at that point. I mean, you could.
Although, I mean, J.J. Watt was not in the SEC.
No, he was from Wisconsin. I mean, if you're going to go outside the SEC, you should have went with J.J. Watt. Because, that's tough. It could have been worse. Here are the 2 quarterbacks taken after Jake Locker. Blaine Gabbert and Christian Ponder. So at least
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, huh?
at least it wasn't like, Andy Dalton was in that class and Colin Kaepernick. Both of those would have been much better career guys than.
I never said it out loud, unfortunately, but I really like Colin Kaepernick. And I'll tell you, I had actually covered a high school football game here in Columbia one Friday night. Got home, turned on the TV, and Nevada was playing somebody, and he was just killing it. I'm like, this dude's pretty good. And, everything else was kind of history. I think he would have been a really good fit here at that point in time.
Andy Dalton would have been either one of those two, and both of those were in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those, and the entire trajectory changes, just like J.J. Watt. I mean, J.J. Watt changes your entire trajectory if you're the Titans. It's just,
especially when you
unfortunate.
look at the rest of that draft, because they took Jarrell Casey in the 3rd round.
Yep.
They took Carl Klug in the 5th round.
It's,
I mean, if you had taken J.J. Watt and continue on that road, you've got a defense that everybody's got to deal with. And you don't have to play J.J. Watt twice a year.
That's the key. It's interesting. I hate going back and playing the if then game, but also I love it because
Yeah, don't lie. You love this. What are you talking about?
it's unfortunate when you go back and you think, boy, which for me it doesn't really matter because I mean I wasn't a Titans fan until probably last year, really.
It wouldn't be so bad if Locker's career hadn't gone the way it did.
Sure. I mean,
if you were comparing good players, it wouldn't necessarily be so painful, but Locker wasn't good and he wasn't around very long.
2 years. And then they drafted Mettenberger, who lasted less than a year. Yeah. And then they drafted Marcus. And I'm never going to say anything bad about Marcus Mariota. I love that dude.
Well, you have to.
Football player wise, I could take him or leave him, but he's just such a great dude. And that's all I'm going to say.
He did everything he could do for this franchise.
Even threw a touchdown pass to himself. So I really don't know what else you want from him. So to get into keeping in the if-then statements,
mm-hmm.
but going into college football, because that's what we have
in this segment.
And
theoretically.
and probably going to end up switching some things here because of flipping the segments. Because Joel Klatt tweeted, "What's the best job in college football?" And he ranked them 1 through 5 in this order: Texas, Alabama, USC, Ohio State, Georgia.
Okay, wait a minute. Say that again. He put Texas 1?
Yes.
Alabama 2?
Yes.
Who else?
USC, Ohio State, and Georgia.
Why is Alabama? I mean, why is Texas better than Alabama?
Resources. Resources. And you don't have to follow Nick Saban, I guess. But
so are you talking about the best 5 jobs right now or the best 5 jobs when they come open?
He said right now. Bruce Feldman.
It's tough for me to think that Alabama isn't the best job.
Bruce Feldman says LSU is a better job than most of these. Great facilities, resources where school is totally committed to playing football at the highest level. And each of their last 3 coaches have won national titles. You can't say that about anybody else. That's actually a pretty impressive stat. 3 different coaches have won national titles.
Well, one of those coaches is at Alabama.
Sure, but that's pretty impressive. Now, some guy says, "Oh, you're way off base." You know, if Joe Burrow doesn't show up down there, then he's not the 3rd coach in 7 years. Blah blah blah.
But he did.
But Joe Burrow did show up and they won. Isn't that the point? You get credit for what you actually do. I mean, you can't. If Tim Tebow had gone to Alabama instead of Florida, is Mike Shula still there, or does Nick Saban never go to Alabama because Shula wins a couple SEC titles? Just stop. Stop with that.
Yeah, you can.
You
you
get
can
credit
go
for what you do.
You can go down a rabbit hole pretty quick with that.
Yeah. No, thank you. But USC being the third best job in the country, we're having this conversation off the air. Let's have this conversation on the air, because if you want to make a hire midseason, is it possible to make a hire of somebody who already has a job in college football? Because Dan Mullen is apparently not happy, and they're not happy with Dan Mullen in Florida, despite all of the positive things he's done. He and the admin are not getting along.
I will go back to the column that I referenced in regards to USC and Clay Helton by Bill Plaschke of the LA Times on Sunday. If you've decided you're going to make a move, go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off.
Make a move. Either way.
I mean, if Florida has decided they're going to get rid of Dan Mullen at the end of the year, why wait? If Dan Mullen has decided he's all in on USC, why wait? And you made the point that he's got a chance to win the SEC East. Who cares? If USC wants him, if he wants to go, whether he wins the SEC East or not, matters none.
Yeah, because he's leaving either way, and they're offering him the job whether he wins or not.
Right. So that's of no consequence.
It doesn't matter.
And if he's leaving, it gives Florida a head start on their next guy.
Right. It's a mutually beneficial situation.
For everybody involved.
Because of the one thing that makes this is the biggest problem with the December signing period.
Mm-hmm. Because if USC wants a guy who is currently coaching at the collegiate level, conventionally speaking, that guy's not going to leave until the end of the season, which means those guys that you've got committed, those guys that you want, they don't know who they're going to play for, and they're not going to sign in December, and rightfully so, especially because everybody's kicking on the transfer portal.
Get this. This goes back to Lane Kiffin leaving Tennessee. Tyler Bray being recruited by Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron is his point contact, right? Tyler calls Ed and says, "I'm hearing that you guys are going to LSU. Or USC? What's going on?" And he says, "No, man, we're good. We're here. We're good." 2 days later, Lane's gone. He calls Orgeron. The phone's disconnected. I mean, instead of saying, "Yeah, we're going to USC. Come with us."
Well,
because
honor among thieves,
can't
maybe
do that.
Yeah, that's tough.
So that's the biggest issue with the December signing period is you lose an entire class if you are a coach who is fired or if you're a school who fires a coach.
Yeah.
Or one who leaves. You as a coach then lose an entire class.
Absolutely. Because the December signing period in a short period of time has become what the November signing period is for basketball. I mean, I was talking to the late Pat Summitt one year about one of her recruiting classes, and someone had committed, and I asked if they were signing earlier, if they were signing in April, and she says if they don't sign in November, they're not signing. And we're done.
Yeah.
After November, we're on to the next class.
We don't have time.
Point. And most of these, your major football programs in particular, are in that same position at this point. If you don't sign in December, you're not signing with us.
And that wasn't the reason for this. Changing the signing day wasn't the goal of the NCAA, but it's an unintended consequence.
Well, I think it was just from the standpoint of, if kids know that they want to go.
Well, the goal was for anybody who wanted to enroll in January for early classes. That was the goal. Mm-hmm. They didn't think this many people were going to be able to do that. And now they're not using that. It wasn't a if you sign in December, you have to enroll in January. Had they made that distinction,
It might have.
it would be a different story. But they didn't make that distinction.
Right.
So therefore, they've just changed the signing date.
Basically.
And it's a problem think about all these schools who are still playing in December. You got coaches out here trying to prepare for a game, but also they've got to make sure
Signing
that the
day.
recruits are signing.
And
That's a problem.
And being babysat up
The whole
to
time.
signing day.
That's a problem. That's why the NCAA, again, you can't change it now.
No, that genie doesn't go back in the bottle.
So it's unfortunate for teams, coaches, and
Players.
sometimes players, because you sign in December and then in January after the national championship game, the offensive coordinator that you just talked to for the last six months or
Is
2
gone.
years is gone. He's in Texas now. You know, I mean, that's an unfortunate situation for everybody involved. I think it was a poor decision by the NCAA not to make that distinction.
No.
Well, God forbid the NCAA do anything right on the first try. But real quick, we got 3 minutes going through the AP Top 25. Surprise, surprise, Alabama, Georgia, number 1 and 2. Oklahoma moves up from 4 to 3 due to Ohio State falling. Ohio State fell all the way to the 9th. Behind Cincinnati, who struggled for 3 quarters with Murray State. That's kind of a little jab at Ohio State. If Cincinnati is ahead of you in the AP poll, ooh, boy.
And you don't think the Cincinnati coaching staff is
Hey,
making phone calls this week?
We're going to the Big 12, and we're ranked higher than Ohio State. What you want to do? Oh, yeah, they're using that. Oregon makes the biggest jump, 12 to 4.
Now, the flip side of that is Luke Fickell is hearing his name mentioned at USC, where former Cincinnati athletics director Mike Bone is leading the coaching search.
Yep.
So
What?
it's the pros and cons of being Cincinnati right now.
That's Ohio State's making those other phone calls. He's going to USC.
Yeah.
So unless be careful committing to Cincinnati. Oregon moves up to 4th from 12th. Iowa from 10th to 5th, and then Virginia Tech after their big win over MTSU, which we will talk about later this show, goes 19th to 15th. Iowa State falls to 14th from 9th. Notre Dame is still in the top 15. And if anybody has any good reason for that, please feel free to give us a shout on Twitter or Facebook or anything, because that's insane.
They're Notre Dame.
They've not done anything.
They're Notre Dame. They
That's
don't
why
have to do anything.
Preseason rankings are trash can juice. Unranked teams who moved in: BYU after they went over Utah, and Arkansas after their win over Texas is 20th. So
Texas is not back.
and Michigan is now 25th. So there you go. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the games from over the weekend: Tennessee, Vandy, et cetera, et cetera. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns right after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant with you here on this Tuesday afternoon, quarter till the top of the hour on this Top 5 Tuesday. We haven't talked a lot of baseball today, but did want to mention that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. became the MLB's home run leader for the season yesterday, which led me to the idea for today's Top 5. Top 5 father-son combinations, not necessarily just duos, because there are some who have a couple of sons who are successful. So we'll just say combos, father-son combos in sports history. So should be fun because I have a list of 12 right now that I have to whittle down to 5. We're going to have a couple honorable mentions, I got a feeling. But, Mo,
Also interesting, as we were scrolling through Twitter, as we are wont to do, we came across the fact that on this date in 1990, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. became the first father-son combo to hit back-to-back home runs. This was after we had decided on this as our top 5 topic for the day, but
I got a feeling the Griffies are going to show up in a couple of lists. At least one.
I think that's a pretty good.
Got a feeling.
That's a pretty good bet right there.
Oh man, Mo, we've put it off as long as we can. We pushed it off from Monday to Tuesday. I pushed it to the next segment as long as I could, but at this point, we pretty much have to talk about Tennessee and Pittsburgh. And it's unfortunate because Tennessee absolutely should have won this football game. Pittsburgh did not beat Tennessee on Saturday. Tennessee beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
And there's no question there.
Yeah, yeah.
As our buddy Will Rabb said. And we both agreed on Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, you have to wonder what would have happened if Joe Milton had stayed healthy. And not that Hendon Hooker played badly, but, I mean, the interception that he threw late was just inexcusable, I thought.
You have to wonder, maybe. Personally, I'm not sure it's that close if he stays healthy.
So you think Hooker played better than Milton would have?
Overall, Hendon Hooker played better than Joe Milton. But let me tell you why Joe Milton is the quarterback and not Hendon Hooker. I can tell you exactly the reason why.
Because he's Heupel's guy?
Nope.
What?
Because he has 2 years eligibility. Hooker has 1. And if you're going to play, you're going to play the guy you can play next year too.
And if you're Josh Heupel, that makes all sorts of sense.
All the sense in the world. If you're going to lose anyway, lose for the future.
And here's the thing. But while you're losing for the future, what is Harrison Bailey thinking as he's looking at this situation?
Either Harrison Bailey is in these practices and goes, I'm clearly not better than these guys, so it is what it is, or he's gone. There's no way he stays after this year.
Well, even if there's no way he's clearly better than those guys, then the next thought process, and I can appreciate this, is I'm clearly not better than these guys here in this program. So I'm going to go get myself into another program. I mean, I think Harrison Bailey is probably gone.
You just got to be careful and
regardless
not
of
be
the
Tate Martell and backing up somebody at UNLV.
Isn't that crazy?
I think Tate
This
Martell,
guy has been everywhere and can't get on the field.
Tate Martell is the ideal person for coaches to use against the transfer
Quarterback's
portal.
transfer.
Sure, go ahead, transfer. But you better hope you're not Tate Martell, because then you're a laughing stock of the world. And
What is he? Has this guy just overrated himself?
he signed out Ohio State offered him a scholarship,
Okay.
and then Miami said, "We'll take you." And then
And he couldn't get on the field at either one.
I understand that, but I don't think he's overrated himself. I think somebody overrated him, but I don't think it was him. He didn't give himself 5 stars. I mean,
Well, okay. So then how do Ohio State and Miami miss like that?
so bad. Quarterback's the toughest position to really evaluate, because you don't know the competition against which they're playing, that sort of thing. It's pretty much like at any other position you can coach and teach a guy who's 6'4", 220 to play whatever position you want him to play. You can't teach a 6'4", 220 guy to be a quarterback. You can't. You can't teach that. You just have to be one. And every other position doesn't have that. That and cornerback, maybe. Cornerback is a position you can't really teach. You either have the hips or you don't. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
That being said, Tennessee is in a situation where they now have to figure out, do they want to win this season and risk losing? I mean, you could redshirt Bailey. He's not going to play. You could redshirt him
and
as
give him another year
a
wherever he
sixth year,
goes.
and give him a 6th year and say, listen, we want you to be the guy, but this guy's got the experience, blah, blah, blah. You can tell him whatever you want if that's what you want to do. I don't think Joe Milton is the guy. I mean, if he hits the touchdown pass that's wide open, it should have been 21-0 before Pittsburgh even caught their breath. Mm-hmm. If it's 21-0 before Pittsburgh catches their breath,
they don't catch
They don't catch it. It's over. Instead, you let them hang around. Pickett starts making a few plays here and there. The offensive line gets a lot better. And next thing you know, Pitt's got the lead. They're up 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and you can't catch up.
Say what you will about Joe Milton. The defense has to get better.
The defense played well early, but they did not finish it. Mm-hmm. It was like they had a good game plan going in, but had no adjustment to whatever Pittsburgh was doing. Pittsburgh just outcoached Tennessee's coaching staff on Saturday, at least defensively. Mm-hmm. Offensively, I thought Tennessee made good adjustments. I think Josh Heupel and whoever is running that offense, that core group of coaches made good adjustments, and eventually it started working out. I mean, they had a chance to tie the ball game. Mm-hmm. So impressive on some parts, and much more fun to watch than any Jeremy Pruitt team we ever saw. So there you go. We have to talk about Vanderbilt, Colorado State, because Vandy gets the win against.
Oh, for all of the cues that he misses.
All of them. Didn't miss that one.
He's been sitting on that one for 2 days.
He has. And
says the guy who wore his gator to start the show yesterday at JSU. Yeah.
I don't miss any opportunities. Mm-hmm. When it comes to Jacksonville State. None. Colorado State, who I guess channeled their Florida A&M uniform roots.
But wait, there's more over here.
Yeah. I don't know where they got the orange uniforms from, but they need to throw them away.
It's got something to do with whatever school
it's a throwback,
preceded
It's
Colorado
a throwback
State.
to when Colorado State was an ag school, Colorado A&M. And every year they play one game where they play in those orange jerseys or some version of the orange jersey to honor the ag school.
And they figured
the history.
A 9:00 kick Central Time against Vanderbilt would be a game that not a whole lot of people would see.
Yeah, they try to do it against teams they think they can win. It's like scheduling homecoming.
Well, they didn't.
Take that.
I think Clark Lee has his quarterback.
I think he's always had his quarterback.
I think so too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I think he's always had his quarterback.
Yeah, he was always a quarterback.
I think Mike Wright probably deserves a little bit more run, but I think Clark Lee has always had his quarterback.
That's not what he said.
Well,
you may be right.
That's not what Clark Lee said?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
correct. Not right. As in Mike. Correct. Ken Seals was going to be the guy, should have been the guy, because one, he hasn't done anything
to not be the
guy, and he has the SEC experience, which for Vanderbilt is almost as important as anything. But Wright can play a lot of different places. He gives you an extra element on offense anywhere
that
he's
Seals
at.
does not give you.
But he's also more versatile in where you can play him.
Well, that's going to be the key to see where they can get him in.
I don't know that you want your second string quarterback playing receiver.
When you're Vanderbilt, you want the best athlete you can possibly have anywhere on the field.
And I kind of feel like that's the catch-22.
It is.
Because,
For Vanderbilt,
I mean,
it just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you want your best athletes on the field, but that's a worst case scenario, is it not? If Mike Wright goes out there and gets hurt, and all of a sudden you've lost whatever he brings you with his versatility, but you've also lost your number 2 quarterback.
I don't know that the positive of him standing on the sideline is any more of a positive
Than what he would bring you on the
Yeah.
field, other than at quarterback.
right.
It's
I just think it's a Vanderbilt situation. I don't think you do that much anywhere else. Alabama did it. You know, they played Blake Sims at different places before he was the starting quarterback. So I mean, I guess it's not unprecedented.
the drop off from Alabama's number 1 to number 3 quarterback
Yeah.
probably wasn't as
it was
big.
It was probably Mac Jones. I don't know, but
You mean New England Patriots quarterback Mac Jones? That guy.
Yeah. Tua was the backup at one point as well.
Yeah.
I'm proud for Vandy
It's a big
because
win. I mean,
they got behind and came back. That is huge.
We got just about 2 minutes left, but I do want to say this: they showed life in that game, and that's after getting down in the second quarter, they put a drive together and they carried that momentum through the locker room into the second half, and then even after Colorado State came back and tied it, Vanderbilt went back down the field, kicked a field goal, and then held Colorado State. I mean, Vanderbilt hasn't done that very often.
and that's the thing. This shouldn't be the big deal that it is.
But coming after week 1, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is where we are. And never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you guys off the air.
Okay.
But I really was impressed with Vanderbilt's ability to do exactly that. To go into a tough environment, clearly, because going to Colorado and playing a football game is not easy to do. Just ask Texas A&M.
That altitude's a real deal. Apparently, they were
Corey
saying
Chavis was talking about
Yeah.
that during the game.
Colorado State's the 3rd highest altitude college football stadium in the country.
That's tough to do. That's a tough place to play. So I'm giving credit where credit is due there. Congratulations to Vanderbilt, because I certainly didn't think they were going to win. Glad they did.
Anchor down.
We will talk to Chip Walters on the other side of the top of the hour, talking a little Middle Tennessee State. So stick around for that. More college football and top 5 coming up. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Raiders to the two-tone blue, covering the teams you care about. It's only on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. 6 minutes past the hour, and if you are on your way home, driving home from your place of employment, thank you for tuning in to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports. We really appreciate it. If you are watching on YouTube or you are listening on WZYXradio.net or watching on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere else, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us as we continue to cover mostly college sports today, although it is Top 5 Tuesday. JP, you still got that cue up that you just had queued up? You still got that? I'm just asking.
Which one would that be?
I'm asking about your musical cues over there. I'm just
The one I played in the last segment?
Yeah, I was just curious if you want to play it again while we talk about Middle Tennessee State beating Vanderbilt in women's soccer yesterday 2-1.
Okay.
Chip Walters joins us now to talk some MTSU sports, and I had to get the little jab in there. Come on.
I don't think JP is a huge Vanderbilt women's soccer fan or a women's soccer fan at all. But,
well, Peyton DePriest collected her second brace.
That's a big win for Middle because Vandy won. I believe they won the SEC regular season. Yeah, last year.
They sure did.
Yeah, that's a big win, isn't it, Chip?
It is, and you're right. Vandy won the tournament last year, and Middle got the win. Peyton DePriest, a couple of weeks ago became Conference USA's all-time leading goal scorer, and since then scored 3 more goals and has a total of 53 in her very ballyhooed career. And Middle came from a goal down to and Peyton scored both goals to get the win at Vandy on Sunday night. So it was a really nice win, and anytime you can get a Power 5 win, that's, when you're a G5, that's always another little extra feather in your cap, and it's the first Power 5 win in 8 years. So Middle has had decent years within Conference USA, but nice to go outside the league and get a big win.
Chip, we don't often talk women's soccer here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, but as we talk about Vanderbilt for a second, last year you mentioned they won the SEC tournament with Sarah Fuller, who went on to fame with the Vanderbilt football team, who is now playing goalkeeper for North Texas. So I guess
she was co-player of the week this week.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of coincidences,
apparently apparently she pitched a couple of shutouts last week. So I just happened to see that come across earlier that she was co-player of the week in Conference USA this week.
When do you all play North Texas?
I don't have it in front of me.
I can tell you. My bad.
I can tell you.
Yeah. Tell me.
It is. Let's get down to. It doesn't look like they play them at all.
Maybe they don't.
Doesn't look like
they might
play
not
them at all.
be playing because of divisional play, and then if they do, it would probably be in the tournament. So,
yeah, they've got FIU on Thursday, Western on Sunday, and then Old Dominion before they travel to FAU in October. Then Charlotte, then UTEP, UAB, Rice, Marshall, and then the tournament starts in November. So, there you go.
So, yep. So,
but go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, other than the outcome, how was Blacksburg?
It was a good trip, and you're correct. The outcome was not what Middle was looking for, but when you look at the total, game, played pretty well. Had a couple of did not have a lot of penalties, but got a couple of penalties at really bad spots. You had a kickoff return that started Virginia Tech in the plus territory. That ended up not getting any points. but they had a punt return that put them in the plus side of the 50. And also the only turnover of the game was an interception thrown by Bailey Hockman. And that return put them on the plus side of the 50 and gave them, I think they scored on both of those. So 14 points off of those big returns. And, the first half was, 14-7 at halftime, could have been 14-14, could have been 14-10, whatever. And it was a really good football game. And then Virginia Tech was able to score 3 straight possessions in the third quarter, and that made the difference in the football game. But all in all, disappointed with the outcome, like you said. But the overall play was very encouraging with a tough trip coming up this week against a really talented and really fast UTSA team.
That first return that you talked about was the opening kickoff that they returned to about the 50, and then that kind of flipped the field, put you guys in a bad position. I think it started that first drive at like the 10 or 15, but kind of got out of there, and it seemed like, as the game progressed, obviously the depth of an ACC school and a Power 5 school is typically going to be a little bit better. And then, of course, you have that third quarter where the Hokies were able to kind of take control of the game. But on top of, after everything, you get home and you watch the film, you have to be encouraged by the offense and what they've been able to do as far as improvement going forward into Conference USA play.
Oh, I think so. And knock on wood, you've had 1 turnover in 2 games. And so, trying to keep that as clean as possible and did not have a turnover the opening week, had 1 against Virginia Tech. And I was kind of thinking in my head as we're sitting there watching it play out, I had watched them play North Carolina the previous week and thinking, Middle's guys are holding up pretty well here, because they sacked the Carolina quarterback 6 times, and I think Bailey got sacked twice, and one of those, was probably his fault that he got sacked. But all in all, that trip is behind. Now you've got two road conference games to open up the league with. I'm not sure, who made who mad, but you got to go to UTSA and Charlotte. And the Charlotte game, which will end up being the third of 3 straight road games, is a Friday night.
So you
got a short week.
Each of which of those have beaten a Power 5 school in the last 2 weeks.
Yep, and then have beaten a 1AA the following week. Because Charlotte beat Duke, UTSA beat Illinois. Illinois has also lost this past weekend pretty badly at Virginia. But UTSA, this week's opponent, after beating Illinois, came home and whipped up on Lamar 54-0. And so that's where, they've got a great combination of a quarterback and running back. Sincere McCormick is the real deal.
Sincerely.
All kinds of moves. Yep, sincerely he is. And their quarterback, he's got all kinds of quicks. So they like to play a fast style of defense. They don't apply a lot of pressure on the quarterback. At least they haven't to this point. They don't have a sack in the first 2 weeks, but they're a good team. Jeff Traylor, who was a longtime high school coach in the state of Texas, has done a bang-up job, recruiting down there. And, they kind of sit down there kind of by themselves a little bit. The only Division I program in San Antonio, which is a huge area with lots of players. And that's why they have, from being a startup about 10 years ago, they've done a really good job. And they've won 9 out of their last 13 games. So they've kind of had things on a roll a little bit. Got a great place to play in the Alamo Dome. So it's going to be a good trip. Probably as far as vantage point, angle to the field, all of that, the Alamo Dome's probably my favorite place to go call a game from within our league.
You guys are in the second deck of that, right? So you're
you're in between decks.
Right.
You're in between,
but you're not at the very top like a lot of places.
Correct. It's more like at Nissan Stadium where you're in between levels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it used to be that way at the Superdome, but they took all the media stuff out of that level, put in premium seating, and at that point moved all the media, including the broadcast booths and stuff, where you're basically hanging off the ceiling down there. But the Alamo Dome so far, I mean, it's just, I mean, if you could draw up your perfect angle to the field, it certainly has it.
Chip, I was just getting ready to tell you that while you're in San Antonio on Friday night, you need to go check out Texas Land and Cattle Steakhouse on the Riverwalk. I pulled it up and it says permanently closed, which kind of hurts my heart. But
yeah, I've got another fave that's just off the Riverwalk called Mi Tierra, and it's open 24/7. Has great Tex-Mex. You can go have huevos rancheros for breakfast, or all the Tex-Mex specialties for lunch or dinner, and that may be our spot on Friday night.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you've got that addressed. Chip Walters visiting with us here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Chip, I'm looking at the game notes, and we talk a lot about Reed Blankenship when we talk about MTSU football, and with good reason. He is now 5th on the all-time tackle list and is probably going to be 2nd by the end of this ball game, only behind Roosevelt Culver, who played when I was over there with 344 tackles. Just continues to get it done consistently over this last 4 years.
Yeah, Reed is a football player, and he's over the 300 tackle mark. And you're right, Rosie Culver was, when we were in school, just a tackling machine, and he is in there with some really good defensive company. And I think when we think of those guys back in that Coach Bunio had back in the 80s and early 90s, that Reed would fit in with those guys, and I think that a lot of those old cats would certainly appreciate the way that he plays.
I think Reed Blankenship is going to he's going to go down as one of the all-time great Blue Raiders, and we are lucky that we get to watch him play each and every week. Chip, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for everything. I just want to let you know that I had you queued up on the on the radio broadcast, and I had to do some pausing and whatnot, but I got you on the with the TV broadcast, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, cool! And I'm just glad that you're conscious after what Jacksonville State did Saturday night.
Please don't bring it back up.
Yeah, we went through it yesterday. We're going to be done with it. I can't take it anymore, but we'll see you later, man.
All right, take care.
We'll be right back on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, talking more college football. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. We are in the Lee Company studio and glad to be here with you on WKOM 1017 FM and WZYX Radio.net, as well as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. If you go to our Twitter bio, you can actually listen to the show on our stream. That's available too. Hopefully soon it will be on Main Street Radio, whatever that URL becomes. Main Street Radio is not available. It's for us. It's out there. Don't go to mainstreetradio.com.
No, but there, maybe a little teaser of what's to come.
It's coming. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it will be available to you. But right now the stream is available. You can get to it in our Twitter bio. Mo, real quick, Nashville Sounds, they line up tonight at 6 o'clock Central, 6:05 in Gwinnett. Josh Lindblom and Kyle Wright start the 6-game set.
Okay.
So should be fun for Jeff Him, who we will talk to tomorrow about tonight's game and the rest of that series. So just a little teaser there. We'll talk to him probably in hour 1 of tomorrow's show, considering he's got some things to do. We'll also talk about some NASCAR because it's Bristol week.
It's Bristol, baby.
One of the best races in auto motorsports is Bristol on Saturday night. It's always fun. But we'll talk to Terry the Chicken Man on Wednesday as well. So stick around with us tomorrow. But for now, we continue with that wasn't a backhoe, but it was a hot rod of some sort.
Little drag racing on West 7th.
Hey, if you feel
Hope they got the shocks for it.
if you can feel comfortable doing that, more power to you. But oof. Hey, you know what is really cool though? I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the power lines are gone.
I had not noticed.
Oh, they sure are.
Power lines are gone, all down West 7th, which means that AT&T has probably been at least somewhere nearby, which means soon and very soon we should be seeing some improvements to the surface of West 7th. So it's exciting.
It's only a year late.
Fall of 2020.
Yeah. Maybe they're going to hit fall of 2021.
Doubtful.
Maybe.
I'm not going to hold my breath. Anyway, got a few more college football games to talk about because we can't not talk about Arkansas, Texas. I don't know if you guys saw the video of Arkansas's AD on the sideline. I tweeted it out. Just unnecessarily cool to watch. I mean, when he's hugging Sam Pittman going, you and your staff did this, and the entire student section is standing on the field, $100,000 well worth it.
As investments go. Yeah. Isn't this what Arkansas is supposed to do?
Is it?
And I mean,
based on the last few years,
this isn't your father's Texas. I mean,
this also isn't my high school's Arkansas. Darren McFadden and Felix Jones ain't walking through that door. But based on what Arkansas has done over the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know that it is what Arkansas was supposed to do.
Yeah, I guess.
It was definitely not what they were supposed to do. Not this early.
No, I don't mean on this Saturday. I guess I'm just saying from a program history.
They have enough tradition, and that's a rivalry that, yes, beating Texas should not become a big deal.
Thank you.
Well, yes, but.
Well, actually.
And I know this isn't a kick-six situation, but when you beat your biggest rival, and make no mistake, Arkansas's biggest rival is Texas. You can make an argument for LSU or Ole Miss or A&M or whatever. When Arkansas, if you ask any Arkansas fan right now, who is the team that you want to beat more than anybody in the world, they're going to tell you Texas. And when you beat their eyeballs in for 60 minutes and all of that pent up frustration from the last 4 years, and you know you're going to win, at the end of that game when the clock hits 0, you're going on that field. Period.
That was the ultimate welcome to the SEC moment, wasn't it?
Oh, no question.
Everything. You're right. It was a perfect storm.
Did they not put horns? Did they not put horns down on the video screen at the stadium?
I don't know if fans were doing it. Certainly.
I feel like I heard that they did. I didn't see it, but
if you Google Arkansas horns down, it auto finishes to Jumbotron. So I'm going to go with yes. At some point, they did that.
Rivalries are funny because Texas is Arkansas's biggest rival.
But Arkansas ain't Texas's biggest.
Oklahoma, I would think, is Texas's biggest rival.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
Yeah.
And there are the reason for that is because Texas is Texas. Historically, the biggest program in college football,
The number one job in college football.
according to some.
To some.
Yeah.
Much like Alabama is going to be somebody's Auburn's biggest. Well, no, Auburn and Alabama are weird. They pretend that the Iron Bowl isn't their biggest rivalry. Alabama fans say that Tennessee is, and Auburn fans will tell you that Georgia is. Everyone, they're liars. It's what they are.
I think it's a given. Maybe they just treat it as a given.
Well, no, what they're doing is
They are making excuses in advance.
it's such a big rivalry that they want to put down
The rivalry.
the rivalry.
They don't want to give credit to their opponent.
Exactly. That's how much they hate
Yeah.
Auburn and Alabama each because
Giving credit means giving credence
exactly
to their existence.
So
That
therefore,
it means something to them.
that's why there's. But that I don't think that's the point in
like
Texas,
dating.
Arkansas.
It's
No.
like dating, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't pay them any attention, they want you more.
That's right.
So true.
Never worked for me, but that's another story for another day.
So I'm told.
Yeah. Rumor has it.
But you're right, and this is only a rivalry one way, a massive rivalry one way.
$100,000 rivalry.
But
one way.
again, the frustration that Arkansas fans have felt for so long after Petrino's accident had to be, I mean, in that moment when you know you're about to win this game against a team like Texas, who's nationally ranked, and you've been crap for the last 4 years, that's gonna happen. So I'm not mad at him. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great moment for Arkansas. I think Arkansas put themselves on the map. I think Texas A&M, without their starting quarterback, better be on the lookout next week in Jerry World.
Yeah.
And Arkansas is still just the third best team, maybe third or fourth best team in the SEC West. That's what's so I mean, you've got Alabama and Ole Miss who are probably better. Auburn maybe, I don't know. And then you got A&M. They may be the fifth best team.
Hard to tell with Auburn because of who they play.
You
But
never know.
I tell you, one quick look ahead to the A&M. When Arkansas does usually play A&M well at Jerry's World, but Texas A&M's defense is a lot better than Texas.
I'll agree with that.
And the idea that a lot of pub given to some schools coming back down to earth. We've seen it with Indiana. We saw it with Iowa State, Iowa both times, of course. I'm going to go ahead and call that Texas A&M dominates in this game against Arkansas.
Are you telling me that it's going to be 3-2, like Mississippi State Auburn,
No.
or
No, I think I don't know what the line is, but
But you're taking Texas
I
A&M
would
to
take
cover
Texas
it.
A&M to cover. It's just
even
a
without
hunch.
their quarterback?
Yep,
Because their starting quarterback's done.
yep. Jimbo will get. I tell you, that kid showed a lot of heart.
He did. He should have scored a touchdown.
Uh-huh,
I
yep.
mean,
That's true.
he lost control of that ball right at the goal
Right
line.
at the goal line.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any closer than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But huge
Gutsy
win,
kid.
huge win, signature win, and goes to the question: if you have a signature win, that's storm the field worthy, don't you think?
Sure.
I guess.
I mean, neither of you have a problem with them storming the field, do you?
No,
For
no,
this?
no. I don't have a problem with them
Yeah.
storming the field. Like I said, I just thought the reaction was a little over the top. That's all. I mean, I get everything that Chris said. Everything he said is spot on. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I'm a little of an act like you've been there kind of guy. And I know that Texas is a little overblown. So, but
There
No,
is
I-
not a line at this point.
Huh,
I wonder
interesting.
if that's related to the quarterback situation.
I think they typically put them out on Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Arkansas. I think they're going to be on a high, and
they
I
will
think
be.
that you can go
Which
one way
could
or
be
the other.
dangerous,
You
yeah.
can go one way or the other. you either are going to crash or you're going to want to stay up there. So, I mean, it is what it is. Now, the only SEC game of the week, Kentucky, Missouri. How about the Wildcats? They may have found a passing game.
And Chris Rodriguez may be the best running back you've ever heard of.
You know, this is a good football team. A football team that is going to be worth keeping an eye on this year, I got a feeling.
Well, I mean, you said it a couple of weeks ago. I mean, they may be the number 2 team in the SEC East.
Very well could be.
I think they are. Absolutely.
I mean, especially if Dan
Especially
Mullen,
if Dan Mullen leaves. Yeah. Or maybe that's why Dan Mullen leaves.
Get out of there before October 2nd and your stock falls, sir.
Yeah.
The one thing that Kentucky has going for it, as we've talked about, is the schedule. Of course, they obviously have to play Georgia, and they have to play LSU, but it's at home. So they get LSU at home this year and Florida. So they get Florida and LSU. Now, it's back-to-back weeks, but they get them at home. Florida, LSU, Georgia in back-to-back
Wow.
with no bye
At
Wow.
Georgia.
or open week.
Thank you.
They get the open week after Georgia, though, before they go to Mississippi State, Tennessee, Vandy, New Mexico State, and then Louisville.
And they'll be looking to run the table over that
After
stretch.
Georgia, no chance, no reason they should not
Right.
go 5-0 over the next 5 games. And that means that this is a 9-win team.
They've played like it so far.
Absolutely, they have.
I mean, they're going to be favored, you're right, in every game except those 3.
They have a 62% chance of victory against LSU.
Wow.
They They are not favored, according to the FPI, over Mississippi State, Florida, Georgia.
They're not favored. Is that in Starkville?
In Starkville, they have a 48.3% chance of
No,
victory in
it's
Mississippi
Starkville.
State La
It's
Tech
a-
was in
It's a pick 'em.
Starkville as well,
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
it?
a pick'em. Yes, but so was NC State. So there you go. That's kind of. I mean, this is a 9-win team, or should be a 9-win team. I think if it's not, it's a disappointment for this for Mark Stoops, and Mark Stoops is quietly raising his stock.
But he's from Ohio originally, right?
I don't know where the
I think
Stoops are
I think
from.
the Stoops are from Ohio. Yeah.
I mean, raising his stock to do what?
Get paid, whether it be at Kentucky or somewhere else.
Well, I think all things being, I think he'd rather it be at Kentucky. Really?
If all things are equal, but I don't think all things are equal across the college football world, as we all know.
Well, Kentucky will always be a basketball school.
There's that, which is, and that's kind of that was the issue that Bear Bryant had, was that he wasn't going to get what Adolph Rupp got, so he went elsewhere.
So let me ask you this, hypothetically speaking. Oh, we'll have to do it quickly, but Luke Fickell leaves Cincinnati to take USC. Does Mark Stoops take Cincinnati?
I would. You're going to the Big 12.
I don't know.
You're recruiting the same people.
I don't think Cincinnati can pay what Kentucky can pay.
Even with the Big 12?
Yeah, no. SEC money. Nobody has SEC money but Notre Dame.
You're right, but is Kentucky willing to come off of it? That's the question. All things equal, no, you stay in the SEC. I don't know. Top 5 Tuesday coming up. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Show returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Lists are for suckers. Oh, did I leave my mic on? It's Top 5 Tuesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Here's Chris and Matt.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Glad to have you guys with us here on this Top 5 Tuesday, quarter till top of the hour, and we are getting ready to count down our top 5 father-son combos in sports. Now, we didn't really specify, is this is who we think are the best between the two, or like collectively they are the best ever?
Most prolific, I guess.
I like that. I like that. That is a good definition here. Let's go with that, JP. Prolific.
Most prolific
father-son combos.
combo. All right.
It's presented by our friends at Mid-South 5 Fitness. Thalas Steel, steelathletes.com, doing a great job keeping you in shape, getting you in the best shape of your life. Steelathletes.com. Again, go check out Thalas Steel, Mid-South 5 Fitness. 2 great locations, one in Columbia, the other in Franklin. So now we get to it, and I'm gonna do one honorable mention because I don't want to mention all these because obviously a lot of them are going to be on everybody's list. if by the end of the lists some of these don't get mentioned, I will then re-mention them.
Honorably mentioned.
I will
them?
honorably mention them on the back side. But my biggest honorable mention, I think, has to go to Dell and Steph Curry. That would be my number 6 on the list. I figured Dell and Steph Curry are going to be on that.
No,
They're not on your
echo that.
list.
No, but I'll echo that. Yeah.
I
echo
thought
that.
Dell and Steph might be on your list. Any honorable mentions, Mo?
Calvin and Grant Hill.
It's a good one.
I don't know enough
Two
about
different
Calvin.
sports. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Calvin was an underrated member of the Dallas Cowboys as a running back
gotcha.
back in the 70s.
Well, kind of hard to be a big part of that offense when you have some of the folks.
There was a lot going on.
There's a lot of
There
great
was a lot
offensive
going
players on that
Yeah,
on those
absolutely.
teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't pretend to be Calvin Hill in the backyard. You were Staubach or
Or Drew Pearson.
Pearson.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, all right. Number 5. Who wants to go first? I can go first. Doesn't matter to me.
I'll go first.
You go first.
we
Okay.
go.
Because my number 5 is Dell
Don't
and Steph Curry.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Oh, my number 5, and this is completely homerism, but over your left shoulder, JP, you will see the father of this duo, and that is Bobby Allison and Davey Allison.
Okay.
But hey, I mean, if had Davey not passed away, I think it would have been a very much more prolific than they were.
All right. Number 5. And, I had to do a little research too. Quick
Research.
research. And hard to argue with this one on somebody's list. Gordy and Mark Howe.
Oh, you win hockey.
Hockey, yeah.
Look at you.
That might not be the only hockey on this list.
Okay. All right. My number 4 is the Griffeys, Ken Sr. and Jr.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. I don't think that anybody can argue with that. My number 4 is Archie, Peyton, and Eli.
That's your 4?
It's my number 4.
Okay.
All right. Boy, it's tough. This is tough. Number 4, I'll go with Lee and Richard Petty.
The Petties are on my list of honorable mentions that I was going to mention
Wow,
at the end if
okay.
they didn't get mentioned. So,
All right.
yeah, Lee, and not just Richard, but Kyle, too.
Yeah, you could go 3 generations.
3.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3, Lee and Richard Petty.
Oh, nice. I mean, can't argue with that.
I mean, Lee was basically a founder of the sport.
He was a founder of the sport and was one of the greats, and then obviously he didn't birth, but had a hand in birthing the greatest.
No, he didn't birth, but
The greatest of all time.
he and Mrs. Petty. Yeah.
Yeah.
They comboed that one.
Birth the king. Yeah.
My number 3, I'll be surprised if this one's on either of y'all's list. Muhammad and Layla Ali, because it's not a son, but I couldn't resist putting Layla on there because she was fantastic. So you know me, I'm bending the rules a little.
That's
But
fair.
Muhammad and Layla Ali, she was fantastic.
What's that meme with Ken Jeong in the sombrero with his feet up on the desk? I'll allow it.
Number 3 for me, going back to hockey, Bobby and Brett Hull.
Also on my list that I did not put them in.
Okay.
I think so.
I'm a little shocked at all the hockey that's showing up from this side of the table.
I'm this guy. He's the hockey guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's not Lawson,
No, I'm not Lawson.
but I mean, as far as hockey in this particular room, he's the hockey guy.
He is
this
the hockey
room.
guy. Yeah.
I mean,
At this point in this room, I'm the hockey
For
guy.
what that's worth, yeah.
there you go. Now, all right, we got a little times here, so we can get into it if we want to. But number 2.
My number 2, and it pains me to a degree.
The Bonds.
Bobby and Barry.
Yeah. I left him off my list because I couldn't do it.
I'm kind of the same.
I think 2 things. One, Bobby Bonds has never gotten his just due. And 2, Barry Bonds was going to be in the Hall of Fame regardless.
I think that's part of that's I think that's one of the reasons for me that I dislike Barry so much.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, but I don't think you can deny his greatness
That's what I'm
even
saying.
without.
That's why I dislike him so much, is because, dude, you were one of the greatest ball players. I watched him play when he looked like, me in high school.
Yeah.
And he was just insane to watch. I mean, I would have much rather had seen him play
Like that.
the Mike Trout way rather than the
I don't even know what you compare it to.
Babe
Mark
Ruth.
McGwire?
Babe Ruth?
Yeah, Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but yeah.
Yeah.
My number 2 are the Griffies. And the only reason is because I consider Ken Griffey Jr. to be the greatest baseball player of all time.
I wouldn't argue with that.
He on my list, and it's completely because it's who I grew up with. But on my list, he is the number 1. He's the guy.
We've
better than
talked.
Richard Petty, who's on your honorable mention
What, as far as I'm saying,
in their sport.
I'm just saying that Ken Griffey Jr. is the greatest of all time. I think that it's debatable. Richard Petty's debatable. I mean, there's Earnhardt, there's Jimmy Johnson, there's Jeff Gordon. All those guys, championship-wise, are close to Richard Petty. Now, and Petty had to deal with a lot of stuff.
We've talked about what ifs during this show. What if Ken Griffey stays healthy?
If Griffey stays healthy,
He's your home run king.
he may be your everything king. He was just insane. So
And that's
why.
part of the reason that you have the respect for him is because you go back and you look at that catch that he made in Seattle when he broke his ankle. I mean, he played hard.
That's right.
With no regard for his physical self.
There you go.
And he was fun to watch.
All right, so we're to my number 2, right?
We are to your number 2.
I'm going to go with the Mannings. Obviously, Peyton and Eli. And Koopa was a pretty good receiver in his own right until he got injured. And then, of course, we've got another one coming up. I think Cooper's son, right?
Yes.
And then
Arch.
Cooper's Arch. And then, what I'm learning
Who
as
was
I get older.
chronicled in a local publication not very long ago.
Okay. All right. And what I'm learning as I get older about Archie
whatever
and how
reason.
good Archie was. Mm-hmm.
I've learned a
hard.
lot more about Archie
Yep.
because of that. I agree with you.
Yep.
I appreciate Peyton and Eli for
Mm-hmm.
showing me the greatness that Archie Manning was because, boy, the Saints were bad.
Well, see,
Gosh, they were bad.
I somewhat remember some of that,
Yeah.
and they were
They're bad.
they were worse than bad. Kind of makes you appreciate what New Orleans is now.
Yeah.
Actually, as you
Sure.
realize how bad they were when he was there, they were awful. My number 1 is the Mannings.
It's interesting.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
you got
give
2 Super Bowl quarterbacks, and their dad.
JP, can we skip to you and go with your number
Sure.
1?
Yeah.
And I have a
Because he
reason.
just wants to hog it.
No, I have a reason.
No, I'll go quickly. The Griffies are mine.
Okay.
And what sold me on that is when they went back to back in the same game.
Yep.
And
31 years ago today.
And that, to me, that sealed the deal for me for this. It was close with the Mannings. So, but yeah, it's a 1-1A. Go ahead.
Here is the rest of my list.
Okay.
Dale Earnhardt, Jr. and Senior. Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody else mentioned that. That is.
Cecil and Prince Fielder.
Oh yeah.
Felipe and Moises Alou.
Very good.
And Howie Long and Chris Long.
Okay.
So that was the rest of my 12-member list.
Yeah, the Matthews, Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's another one. My number one, and JP, I cannot believe this was so low on your list because it's the only father-son duo who both are in the Hall of Fame. Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe, and Mark.
Mm-hmm.
They're both in the Hall of Fame.
The Hulls are.
No, Bobby Hull is not in the Hall of
Bobby's
Fame.
not in the Hall of Fame?
I just looked it up because I wanted to make sure before I said that on the air. Bobby Hull is not in the NHL Hall of Fame, or it's not in the I guess it's that whatever.
It's the Hockey Hall of Fame.
He's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
He's in some Hall of Fame.
He's in the Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame, which is ridiculous. If you're in the Canadian Hall of Fame, I don't feel like you should not be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. But hey, who am I? What do I know? I looked it up, and he is not listed as a member of the Hall of Fame. So you go figure.
So he's in the Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame.
He is in. Hold on.
Which I would think supersedes any other.
This says when he joined his father, Bobby, in the Hall of Fame, they became the first and only father-son combination inducted.
Okay, well, they're not the only. They may have been the first. And I'm seeing here that it does say Hockey Hall of Fame at the very bottom of his Wikipedia, but not at the top.
Well, see, that's your problem. You're looking at Wikipedia.
Well, I mean, it's the first thing, and I was in a quick hurry there. But
As opposed
even
to a
still,
slow hurry.
even still, Gordie Howe was Mr. Hockey, and then obviously Mark was a defenseman and he wasn't anything, he wasn't Mr. Hockey. But fun fact, Gordie Howe became the hockey's all-time leading goal scorer in the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Complex in Birmingham, Alabama.
BJCC.
In the BJCC. True story. There you have it. Top 5 Tuesday brought to you by Mid-South 5 Fitness. The Griffies, the Mannings, the Howes. Of course, I would go hockey number one. Who is this? What is this sorcery?
I thought I was a hockey guy. What's the deal here?
Gordie, it's a Birmingham connection.
Yeah,
you got
of course.
Dude, I'm such a homer. Come back tomorrow. We have another fantastic show lined up for you. Like I told you earlier, we've got Terry Wilcox. We've got Jeff Him. We've got all kinds of great stuff coming to you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So 4 o'clock tomorrow on WKOM, WZYXradio.net, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those things at SM_TN Sports.
Be sure and check out Sports Mix Live right after this with Will Davis.
Sports Mix Live on WZYX. That's right. We'll see you tomorrow. For JP and Mo, I'm Chris Yao. Have a great day and stay cool, Columbia.